Morning, hey, morning, gang, and aloha. Welcome to Just Talking. I'm Cam as usual, and Happy New Year. Today, that's what I'm going to talk about. The our New Year's traditions in Hawaii. Being in Hawaii, we're isolated, so our traditions are a little different. When you watch the TV, everyone talks about um, their traditions, but their traditions revolve mainly around Thanksgiving and Christmas. Uh, because of, I guess, our isolation, our attachment or, our cultural attachments are closer to the East than to the West. Our traditions are drenched more in Oriental traditions, and the Oriental traditions are more steeped in the New Year's. I mean, you have different religious practices, and Christianity comes from the West, and ours is from the East. We have a lot of Buddhists, Taoists, and well, we have a lot of Catholics also. But our traditions are steeped in New Year's. That was the big time for us. Christmas was great for the kids. Don't get me wrong. Thanksgiving is good. Mom's turkey, and we had you get emus then, and then Christmas you get emus. Then for Christmas, different families make the emus. But New Year's was the big thing. If you haven't experienced a New Year's Eve in Hawaii on Oahu, you haven't experienced the New Year's. Take it like Fourth of July on the mainland. With the fireworks, okay, but concentrate that into a little rock, and you have to remember that aerial fireworks, sparklers, and ground displays are illegal in Hawaii. Yeah, just remember, keep that in mind. But come 12 o'clock on New Year's Eve, people actually pull to the side of the freeway to watch the aerial exhibitions. Everything is in the air. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Rockets, they have total ground displays, aerial displays that people buy. People spend, I would conservatively say, millions of dollars on just aerial fireworks. And then after the fireworks, everyone eats and you eat and you eat. The foods we used to, when we were growing up, when I was in high school, we would go different families' houses and you eat. And it depends on, well, what culture they came from. Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, Korean, Hawaiian, Samoan, whatever families we went to, we ate their food. And you ate until you were tired, and then you ate some more. You know, you swear. Talk about gluttony, right? And for instance, on New Year's Day, I'll be going to my friend's house, and his wife gets a, well, my friend passed away, but his wife gets a gang of us together, and everyone. Hawaii, it's typical for potluck. You rarely will go to a function and not bring something. That's, I don't know if that's an Oriental thing or what, but you always bring something. You bring um, you ask this hostess or host, what do you need? And they'll usually supply the beer, and or you can bring your own if you want your own brand. You bring your own brand, BYOB. But you usually ask them, what do you need? Do you need bring an entree, or you have a special dish that you make, or they'll invite you because you make a special dish. You know, um, I used to be known for my mayonnaise shrimp, which is just a shrimp, and it's butterflied and cleaned, and it's soaked overnight in a marinade of mayonnaise. Sorry about that. This is a motorcycle. Okay, mayonnaise, oyster sauce, powdered sugar, white wine, and shallots or garlic. and you marinate it overnight, and then you put it under the broiler, or if you want, you can skewer it and put it on top of the charcoal. That was my mayonnaise shrimp, and it's a appetizer. But when you got to make like 16 pounds of shrimp, it turns into an entree. I bring that this year. I'm going to be bringing my soy chicken, what we call in Hawaii shoyu chicken, with shiitake mushrooms over udon noodles. But and people will bring their a special dish. They'll bring noodles. They'll bring a meat dish, beef broccoli, Chinese style. Uh, they'll make a smoked chicken Chinese style, or char siu, roast pork. I mean, we have just a proliferary, just food. That's all it is. And or you bring a dessert. When I was growing up, we always went to luau's. There's a tradition when the child makes 1 year old, because of the high infant mortality rates. The 1 year milestone was something to be celebrated, and we call that a baby luau, and that because the child makes 1 year. And you go to quite a we were going to quite a bit, because I'm of the generation of the boom. I'm a boomer, and so we went to a lot of baby luau's. And at the baby luau's, of course, you bring a gift. You don't bring anything to eat, because the luau will supply all the food. And one of the dishes that they made was a take off of peach Bavarian cake. It's a white cake with a whipped cream peach, or whipped cream pineapple, chopped up pineapple frosting. And I remember we used to call it a luau cake. And um, you miss it now, because you don't find it. It's dishes that right up there with the Jello mold, right? Remember your mom's Jello mold with the shredded carrots inside? Yeah, I remember that. Whew. But so anyway, New Year's over here is very different. It's like I said, if you ever have a chance to visit Oahu, I don't know about the other islands. I believe that they do celebrate it the same way, but because of the 1 million people on this little rock, it's celebrated, and that's the only way that I know of. I've never gone to a neighbor island for New Year's, because New Year's is a time to be with family. And usually, no matter where you go, no matter what party you're at New Year's, you're home with the family. Everyone is home sometimes. Um, but my tradition was, we used to have a luau, and I remember the preparation for the luau dish was made right after Christmas. You start, you're cleaning the taro leaves, um, you clean all the things that you could do beforehand were done beforehand. The salmon, you got salmon, you salt the salmon, you got what else did we do? We would we'd get the meat ready, put it in the refrigerator. You borrowed your relative's refrigerator also, and you had different dishes. My uncle Teddy, my uncle Teddy would have a friend who would make an emo, and he'd buy pork butts, and we wrap the pork butt and throw it in the emo. So for we'd have Hawaiian food, typically Hawaiian food, and there was a one dish that my dad made that was called na'au pua'a. And na'au is the innards of and pua'a is pig. So basically, it's the innards of a pig. I believe on the East Coast you call it scrapple. But what you gotta understand is Hawaiian food is very simple because of the simple fact that we don't have a lot of herbs, we don't have a lot of spices. The only spices the Hawaiians had was the salt, the ocean salt, and that would collect in the tide pools and the little hole, the rocks, the little pockets in the rocks and just dry up, and they go down to the shore and scrape off all the what we call Hawaiian salt, the rock salt. And so the foods that we have are very natural and they're very in flavor. We don't have a lot of seasoning except for salt. And then later on, chili pepper. Chili peppers came in thanks to the birds. And so we had salt and pepper. Um, we use garlic. We use a lot of garlic and ginger, and that's from the Eastern. That's from China and Japan. That's their influence. We have cilantro. We have green onion, the green onion. We have the round onion, and basically that's for Hawaiian food. That's about it. We have a lot of seaweed. We use a lot of seaweeds. The different seaweeds that we have are this tassel one called limokohu, which is very easy to get, hard to clean. I mean, and it takes a whole lot to make so little. And we also use the candle nut, the candle nut, the candle nut plant, or we call it in Hawaiian kukui. And you'll see it like behind me, the lays behind me. If you see those nuts, those are kukui nuts. And you take them and you roast them, and then you crack them open, you dig them out, grind it up, and people would use that for candles. That's why it's called candle nut. The oil burns, the kukui nut oil. But it's also a great flavoring agent, but don't use too much. It's a very natural laxative. It was given to us when we were kids. If you were constipated, you ate a little bit kukui nut. Taste is very strong. It's very nutty. Okay, it's hard to describe the kukui nut flavor, but when put into foods, it gives a delicious foundation on the flavor. It's used in poke. It's used in ake. It's used in a lot of the raw stuff. The food. It's used quite commonly with fish, but like I said, use it very sparingly. One of my jobs when I was a kid was you get equal parts of that kukui nut, that crushed nut, and equal parts of the seaweed, limokohu, and you put them together and you go with a knife and you chop, 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 and you keep chopping until you turn it into a emulsified paste. And this paste was used to flavor our poke with with Hawaiian salt, chili pepper, and some other limus or some other seaweeds. I don't know the English terms. All I know is it was called ogo, which was a Japanese name. It's used quite frequently in poke. Limokohu, vaiole, lipepe. All of these things, all of these names are for different seaweeds. And as you're growing up, you're taught which seaweed it is and how to pick it. You don't pull it. You pick it. You pick it with your fingers, or you take the scissors that you give to a 5-year-old with the blunt front. Yeah, and the reason why you use the blunt front is so that you don't break the coral or anything around it. So you hold the seaweed and you cut it. Hold the seaweed, cut it, and you put it in your bag. There was a area in the southwest shore called Eva, and there were huge floating masses of seaweed, all different types. And we'd walk through there, and you walk through picking through this floating stuff and picking the ones you wanted. It went away. I don't know what happened to it. It just stopped. I guess it's just stopped growing. But I remember once we were doing that, and this mat of floating seaweed is about close to a foot thick. And I wondered, what's underneath it? And I opened it up and I saw this eel swimming. Whoa, okay. Eels are nothing to be afraid. They only look menacing. They're really more afraid of you than you are of them. But people, they see them and they back off, because the eel comes out of the hole with his gaping teeth, and like that, and they look very menacing. But they're breathing. Okay, that's how they breathe. They have to take in water to breathe. But poor things. But New Year's at my place, it was that and fireworks. My family are pyromaniacs. They love the firecracker. And when I was growing up, all of this was all unlimited. People were more responsible. We had less mishaps. We had less idiots blowing their fingers off, although there are some. One of my friend's father, he has only one finger on his left hand. And that's because he was making a bomb, and the bomb went off and blew up his hand. And so he only had one hand. But he became a master mechanic, even with only one big finger. It was, it was really weird. So yeah, when he pointed at you, he's always pointing the finger. It's just we're all sewn into one cone like. But he still had some dexterity with it. He learned to use it. But fireworks are a big thing, and the fireworks we had, each firecracker, it would come in a pack, and the packs were designated numbers, like a number 100 pack, and that you don't get 100 firecrackers. It was a 100 pack, but there are 48 firecrackers in each 100 pack, and you get a 100 pack. I believe it was a 200, a 500, 1,000. These are packs. Then after the 1,000 pack, which was maybe close to 18 inches to 2 feet in length, you went to the strings, and the strings go from 5,000 and the largest I've heard of is 250,000 string, and that, it goes by length. Like a 5,000 is almost 5 feet long. 10,000 is about 8 feet long, and it's a string of firecrackers, and with a bomb on the top is a concentration amount of firecrackers with powder in it, and it goes off and it just, it's a bomb. And some had, if you remember, cherry bombs, which were huge. They call them M88 now, I think, but they were these cherry bombs, and they were attached to the sides on the way up. And the reasoning behind the fireworks is that the loud noise would scare away the spirits of the old year. And it would, they would run away, and it would leave the spiritual space open for the new and fresh spirits to come in, and you start a new year. And Japanese style is you clean your house New Year's Eve. You clean it out real good. New Year's Day, the house is clean and everything is clean, ready for the new year. My business that I had, I was open 364 days a year. I would close at 8 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and I'd reopen 6 a.m. on January the 2nd. January the 1st, I would traditionally stay closed. And that's because I'm opening a new year. I'm getting out with the old and getting on with the new. And I still had customers calling me up calling me at home to come, to do jobs on New Year's Day. And I tell them, hey, I'm off today. Oh, but, can you do me this favor? Can you do me this favor? And the first couple years, I did it. And after that, the only time I worked on New Year's Day was 1985. We had horrendous rains New Year's Eve, 1984. In fact, the last job I did on 1984, I had to go to the east side of Oahu, and I picked up this car, and the car already was under almost a foot of water. This girl, it was a Volkswagen Golf. I remember it to this day. And I told her, we got to this one intersection, and it was a river. And the cop was there, and they were turning everybody around. And I told the cop, and they knew me. And they said, hey, you cannot go. I said, my truck's, pretty heavy, about 6 tons with the load. I said, I'm going to go through because I have to go to a party. I got to go to, so-and-so's house. And my friend's house. In fact, I'm going to his house this New Year's, and he had a party at his house. By that time, the family things had stopped. We were getting older, and our folks were getting older, and they didn't want to travel. So we had our New Year's party was on New Year's Day. So New Year's Eve, it was free for the kids to go out party, get stupid. And hey, I resemble that remark, man. I got stupid, but we went across the intersection. I started on the extreme right lane. Now this is 3 lanes one way, 3 lanes. It's a 6 lane roadway. I started on the extreme right lane. We went over. It started pushing me. Okay, I'm in compound low. I'm not gonna speed because I want my tires touching the road. But because of the force of the water, it pushed me and my load. I ended up almost to the leftmost lane of the other way, the other traffic. But traffic was all stopped. But just to get through that intersection. And I told the girl, I told her, I'm going to go through. I've got faith in my weathering system on my doors. The water is not going to come in that much. We're not going to get flooded, but I am going through. I have a diesel. It's a diesel motor. And I didn't have a snorkel, but I had an upper respiratory system for my diesel. And my exhaust, the only thing I was worried about was my exhaust. Well, my exhaust didn't point straight out, it pointed downward. So I said, if I keep my RPM up, the force of the exhaust should stop the water from coming back into my exhaust system. I said, we're going to try it. And so we made it. We made it across. I got her car to the repair shop, got her, and I dropped her off on the way home. And the next morning, my friend called me and he said his aunt was on the other side of the island, on the Kailua side, and they were in low water. And the water was really neat because there was so much water there in the property, and this is the whole division. There were fish swimming in the streets. I had never seen that before, and it was about 8 to 10 inches of standing water, and her little area where they're living, her aunt, that was my friend's aunt. The cars were all had to be towed to someplace dry, and so my friend and I went down there, and we spent the better part of the day pulling cars out. I mean, you're not only going to do it for one person, you're going to do it for as many people. So you pick it up, and we had a spot by the regional park where it was high enough so that the cars could dry out. And my friend helped me, and we towed the cars free of charge. It was free. In Hawaiian, we call it manuai. And it's just something you do, And people wanted to know, who I was. And it's, can you, tow? Some of them wanted me to tow it to the other side. I let them, no. I'm just towing it to the park and then let it dry out. And then you make arrangements with towing. And a lot of them wanted me to do it. I said, no, I can't, because already I know that I have appointments already for tomorrow morning. Yeah, I was really blessed with that business. If you called me on a Monday morning past 11 o'clock, chances are I would be scheduling you for Tuesday. And I took appointments all the way till midnight. That's how busy. I mean, thank goodness. I mean, knock on wood. That's how busy I was. By myself, I would say almost over 4,000 cars a year by myself. Put over 110,000 miles on my truck. That's how busy I was. And people ask, well, why didn't you hire somebody? And to be quite honest, the labor pool that I have to deal with wasn't the greatest. I mean, these guys, they want to work for you, but then they want to get paid every Friday. And then they don't want to work Saturday or Sunday. And then Monday, they're still hungover. They're just not moving. Or they'll make arrangements with their friends to tow cars in between. And you're trying to get in touch with them. You can't get in touch with them. And then they want advancements on their pay. And I mean, it was just too much hassle. It was better said, I do it myself. If I had more dependable employees, you know, more guys that worked with me and thought like me, I would have expanded my business, but I couldn't. I have very high standards of customer service. I still do to today. Um, I don't believe the customer's always right, but I will work with the customer as best I can. I will give you a benefit of the doubt. I will explain to you like how I explain now. I will give you good reason why I'm doing it, why you should be doing it, and if you work with me, I'll work with you. It just stems from that. You just treat others as you want to be treated. But if you start taking the higher ground, or start looking down at my your nose at me, like once I went to Las Vegas and I went on the strip. And when I go to Vegas, I'm comfortable. I'm in a polo shirt, shorts. Like I told you, I go in August, and it's hot. It's triple. I mean, we've golfed in 116-degree temperature. And my cousin was saying, "Hey, let's do a second round. We can do it for $10." I told her, "Are you smoking something weird?" But yeah, we ended up playing 2 rounds at Angel Park. Yeah, because the second round was $10, and that included the greens fee and the cart. Not to mention it was 116 degrees. You don't sweat. You drink, but you don't sweat. We went through a 5-gallon water pitcher, plus because we were probably the only people on the course. The girl with the drink cart just kept coming around, and we kept drinking. And you don't get that drunk. You don't. And you don't, like I said, you don't perspire. It just evaporates on you. But I dress very casually. And when you go on the strip and you go to the crap table, and people look down, you look at them and the way they look at you. And I've laid over 3 grand down on a bet, not one bet, but across the table bets. And I look at them and they're playing, $25 chips, but they're playing only one. I tell me, come on, man, let's have fun, let's bet. And I've let it ride. Made money, but that's all right. And they couldn't understand. Everybody has their own way of betting, in Vegas. And I have to, when I go to Vegas, I have to bet on the strip. I can't bet downtown, because downtown there's a lot of local people, and I play no pass. I play uh, not possibilities. I play odds. I play almost house way, and you don't make a lot of money unless if you get a good roller. Oh yeah, you're gonna make money. But I just keep it on an even keel. I like balance. Yeah, when I go to Vegas, I plan on losing money, but I also plan on making money. So if I come out with a couple hundred ahead, I'm ahead. But New Year's here is like that. If you ever get a chance, please come by. You're gonna eat some weird food if you get to walk around, but try it. That's all. That's all I say. Just try it. Watch the raw stuff, because some of the raw stuff is, you know. I mean, the only time I ate dog was New Year's Eve at my friend's house. It was in stew, and it was really good meat. And and I told my friend, "Oh, that was good. That was good stew." And he laughed and he goes, "Yeah, you know what you ate, right?" I told him, "No," and he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, okay." And Filipinos, they have a reputation of eating dog. I know you're over there, "Ugh," but different cultures, different places. Like, um, is it Ecuador in South America where they eat guinea pig? And Vietnam, they eat the rice rats. They have the delicacy over there. Thailand, I remember I was watching this one show where they eat monkey brains. I mean, man, we eat weird stuff. But if it's edible, it's edible. But anyway, this is the end of our New Year's presentation. Again, Happy New Year. And I hope the next year, please subscribe and please give me ideas. Tell your friends about it. I need ideas. I only have so many, and I have some really far out ones out there, and I don't want to get to them yet until more people are watching and more people know me, so that you put up with my insanity. You know, insanity loves company, and I need all the company I can get. But like I tell friends when they, well, not friends, but people when they go, "Are you crazy?" And my favorite retort is yes, but I'm under medical care and medication, so my doctor, I'm fine, and they don't know whether I'm serious or not. Oh, by the way, I'm not serious. Okay. Um, I just like being unconventional, different, as everybody else does. But anyway, thank you so much for being with me. And as always, ahui ho, malama pono, and aloha. Bye bye. Thank you.